Guys, this is CodeNCode and this is 15th lecture of Java Design Pattern series. In this lecture, we are going to learn about the state pattern. That is one of the behavioral design patterns, right? So of course, we are going through the why do we need, we'll go through all of this, like why do we need state design pattern, the structure of it, and also how do we implement it and what scenario state pattern you can implement in, right? So all of it we'll cover in this lecture along with the implementation, right? So let's get started. What is the definition? Simple. The state pattern is a behavioral design pattern. Of course, we know that enables an object to change its behavior. Important thing. It allows an object to change its behavior when its internal state changes. So the change in behavior correspond to the change in state. What is that? What are the states and how there are changes in behavior? We'll discuss that, making it appear as though the original object itself has changed, right? This is particularly useful, of course, for modeling system where the behavior varies significantly based on current state. Right, so we are talking about state a lot. What are those? We'll discuss in the next slide. So it avoids complex conditional logic like uh, switch case, if else condition, which makes your code looks not super nice, right? So yeah, that is your state design pattern. Now let's discuss what is the state that we have been talking about and what are the changes in behavior, right? So you can understand state pattern better. So let's take an example of vending machine, right? Sorry. So vending machine. See, so on a vending machine, you can perform a lot of operations like inserting a coin, selecting a product, canceling the transaction if you don't want it, right? And of course, the dispense. Now, all of these operations depend on the state of the vending machine. For example, now you're going to insert a coin. Of course, the vending machine will accept it. But what if it is already in the dispense state? Right? It is dispensing all a product already, it won't accept the coin at that time, right? So behavior of the class, behavior of the other system changes now based on its state. If it is in idle state, right, like nothing is happening as of now in the vending machine, you can insert a coin and it will accept it. But if it is already dispensing a product, it will tell you to wait, right? So the behavior changes based on the state it is in. For example, if you want to cancel the transaction, right, you can do it, but let's say you haven't even started doing anything, the machine is already in idle state, doesn't doing nothing, you haven't inserted a coin, you haven't selected a product, right, and you want to cancel the transaction, you can't do that because you haven't selected, you haven't inserted anything, you haven't inserted a coin and haven't selected a product, you are not dispensing anything, so cancel means nothing. So and so in this situation cancel does nothing, but if you had selected a product and you had already inserted a coin and have selected a product, you want cancel, now cancel will work, right? So you see, the actions are same, right? Insert coin, select product, cancel transaction, dispense, but based on different states of the vending machine, they behave differently, right? So this is what we are talking about earlier. So state of a machine, and based on the state, the operation that you perform differs significantly, right? Similarly, different state you can similar uh, situation you can understand in order processing system, let's say. So you have placed an order, right? It's in the under processing state. After that state is done, it will move on into dispatched state, and then it will be in transit state, and then after that will be either delivered or cancelled or something state, right? So these are the state of the uh, of your product, right? So there also you can say there are multiple states of the product, right? Or you can say of your order, and based on that different same actions may be resulting in different result. For example, let's say the product is in transit. Let's say you have just placed an order, right, and you want to download the invoice. You can't do that unless it is delivered, right? So once it is delivered, if you click on download invoice, you'll be able to do that, right? There are a lot of things. For example, if you have only placed an order, it's still in processing state, you can't return it, right? You can cancel it, of course, but you can't return it, right? That option is available only when everything is processed, like it is in the delivery state. So actions are same, but they behave differently in different state of the machine or of the product, right? So that's where state pattern comes in. If you have a machine, if you have a system where the actions differ significantly based on the state that machine or that system is in, right? Then you can implement the state pattern, right? And not only that, if you don't implement it using the state pattern, what you can do, you can actually implement it using if else. For example, if I want to insert a coin, uh, you can check if I'm in the idle state. If I am in I accept the coin. If I'm already in dispense state, don't accept the coin, right? So you can implement the same using if else conditions, right? And also you need to take care of the state transition. So when you insert a coin, you can either go to the has coin or has money state, right? Initially it was in idle state. Once you insert a coin, it goes has money into the has money state, right? And then from there you can move it into the select product state, right? Or after it has the money, you select the product, it will move into the um, product selected state, right? Different state you can define yourself based on whether this action uh, behave differently in those state or not, right? So there are state transition also. From state insert coin, you can go to select a product or you can cancel it. From select, you can dispense or cancel it, right? So there are multiple transition of the states also. So if you're doing it using traditional switch case or if else case, you have to take care of these also. And again, you have to use if else condition to do this also, right? And that makes your code looks not so good. For example, this, you see, if you're not doing it using state pattern, what you have to do, the vending machine have to keep track of the state, which is also does in the state pattern. But at the same time, insert coin, you see, if else if else if else if. So you will check whether there are no coins already. If you are inserting a coin and the state was no coin, you'll say, okay, coin accepted. If it has coin, you'll say you already inserted a coin, right? This is for a system where only one coin is accepted. For a system when it can accept multiple coins, what you can do, you can just keep a track of how much money is there each time when they're inserting money, just increment that count, right? Now, what I'm trying to explain here is that if you don't follow the state pattern, you have to implement it, the states and the behavior using if else condition or switch case if you want to. And that makes your code look super ugly. And not only that, this is just one issue, like it is hard to read, it's not readable, right? And the other thing is that it violates a lot of principle. For example, it violates open close principle, because each time you want to add a new state, you have to go through all of the functions, right? And add a new condition there, right, for the new state. So it's not closed for modification, right? It should be open for extension, closed for modification, but that is not happening here. So it violates the open close principle. Of course, violates the SRP, because in a single file, you're taking responsibility of all of the states. You're taking care of every single state and the behavior. It should not happen like that, right? We know that SRP, the single responsibility principle, how important it is and hard to test. Of course, a lot of condition, a lot of flow. Single file, you have to, in a single file, you have to write tests for all of this, hard to test. And then, of course, if else everywhere makes it hard to read. Right, so these are some of the issues, and of course, if you're writing this kind of code, it doesn't look professional, to be honest. So yeah, so these are the issues if you do it using traditional if else way. The better way to do it would be to define a state, could be an interface, and what you can do, write all of the functions, define all of the abstracts function there, like add, coin, select, product, dispense, cancel, and then make different implementation of those. It could be the interface or an abstract class, depends on your implementation and requirement. And then you can define multiple implementation of it, like idle state, dispense state, cancel state, and you can override those methods. Now, for each state, the behavior of each action is contained within a single class, right? For idle, all of the functions are there. For idle state, similarly for dispense, all of the function will be there for dispense state, similarly for cancel, right? Now it follows the SRP. Now for each state is taking care of the behavior themselves, right? So it follows the single responsibility principle, easy to test, because now when you want to test it, you can write one file for idle, one file for dispense, one file for cancel. Easy, it becomes literally easy to test, right? Follows SRP, follows open close principle, because if you want to add a new state, you don't update any of these states, you create a new one. So it's close for modification and open for extension, right? So this is how you can do it, right? Now, let's understand the structure of the uh, state pattern. So there are two things. Actually, there are three things. First will be the context. The the class. Sorry, my bad. The class that relies on different states, like vending machine relies on different states. That will be a context, because that class will hold the current state. Like currently, I am in which state. So that class is called context. So in our case, vending machine will be called the context, and it will hold the current state. Like I'm in idle state or I'm in dispense state. It will hold the current state. And whenever someone calls that function like insert coin, what it will do, it will not provide any business logic there. It will simply delegate that call to the current state, right? So that is your context. It will be clear once we implement it, don't worry. Then we have, you can define the state, right, which can either be interface or abstract class. And then you can define concrete classes of the state, which will have implementation and the behavior, and along with that it will also have the transitions of from one state to another, right? So only three things you need for state pattern, right? So let's go ahead and implement it. So here you see, as you can see, I have implemented the state pattern not for vending machine but for light bulb, because it is easy to understand. When once you have got hold of it, like how to implement it, it will be easy for you to extend it to any situation where state pattern is applied, right? So now, what is light bulb? So I see you have a light bulb. Why I have chosen it? It only has two states, either on state and off state, right? And you're pressing a button. So we are choosing a button which is not like click on top so it turns off, click on bottom it turns off. Now if we have a button which just has press on it, on which you can only press, right? So once you press it, it turns on the light. Once you press it again, it turns off the light. That kind of button we have. So what happens is that initially the light bulb will be in the off state, right? So once you click on the button, it will turn into on state. And once you click it again, if it is in on state, nothing will happen. If it is in off state, it will turn on, right? Oh, my bad. So if it is in on state, you press a button, it will turn it. If it was on, it will turn it off. If it was off, it will turn it off. The two states we have, only one action to press the button, right? And it just turns on and off, right? So if you take a look at the implementation in the states, so we have a state, right, which only has one function, press button, right? And we are, you can see passing the context, which is the light bulb itself, because light bulb holds the current context, right? So sorry, holds the current state. That's why it is the context. So when I call the press button, I'm passing the light bulb. There can be only two states, so I have extended state on two different implementation of it, right? So on state, right, if it is in on state and press button function was called, if it is already on, we'll turn it off, right? So turning the light off, and we'll switch the state. You see, context dot set state. Yeah, the context will provide a method to change the state, because the context changes the state. Similarly, vending machine will provide a method to change the state, because it can be in idle state, then it has the money, and then it moves to the product selector state, right? So each context should provide a method to change the state. So that's why we have provided that, right? This is the context. The light bulb itself, it has the current state, right? And initially when you initialize it, it is inside the off state, right? The current state of the bulb is it is off. So initially it is in off state, right? So here you see you provide a method to change the state. It is important for the context to provide the method to change the state. That's exactly what we have done here. And after that, since there is only one action, here we have defined that one action, that is press button. And you remember here the context doesn't actually do anything, it only delegates, right? So what it does, you see, whenever press button is called from outside, some client is using a light bulb and they have called press button. So the context, that means the light bulb, will not do anything, only delegate it, because all of the states will also have this method and it will call press button on the current state. Current state can either be on or off, right? So here in the on state, if the button was pressed, we'll say turning off the light, and we'll switch the state from on to off, right? And if we are in the off state, we'll say we are turning on the light, and we'll switch the current state of the bulb from off to on, right? I have, as I said, I have taken this example because this is very easy to understand, right? So this was light bulb, these are the states. If we take a look at the demo, I've created a light bulb. When you create a light bulb, it is in off state. I'm pressing the button, it will turn into on state, then back to off state, and then back to on state. So if you run this example, you see turning on the light, because initially it was turned off. Then the second time when we press the button, turning off the light, and then turning on the light, right? So how easy it is to implement. Now so hope you have understood how the state pattern works. Now what about going through a difficult a more complex, relatively complex than this example? How about going through that example and implementing that? Absolutely right. I agree with that. I have never taken an easy path and to implement an easy thing and say that I'm done with my work. No. So the complex one will be vending machine, of course. So we'll implement the same in vending machine also, right? We'll basically implement the vending machine using state pattern. Now the issue is that not the issue. The thing is that I'm not going to do this in this lecture because we are going through LLD course, right? Low level design course, in which I'm going to cover the vending machine, and in that I'm going to implement the vending machine using the state pattern very thoroughly, right? You will understand a lot of things. The states are not as easy, their transitions are not as easy from on to off, off to on, and they are not just a single action, there are a lot of actions, right? Like insert coin, display inventory, xyz, a lot of things are there, right? So we'll implement the vending machine there. So just after this I'll upload the next lecture for vending machine for low level design, and you can watch that lecture and see how state pattern can be utilized in more complex situation. All right, so yeah, this is it for this lecture. Thank you guys for watching. Until the next video drops, keep coding. Thank you.